Today we'll be taking a look at a mystery teaser from a former WWE superstar, a former women's champion who's regretting her old story of being Alexa Bliss's sidekick, and more. Let's start things off with this former women's champion who regrets her storyline with Alexa Bliss. This legendary superstar is Mickie James. This storyline in question takes us back to 2016-2017. Alexa Bliss was brand new to Smackdown and on the main roster. She quickly made an impact, quickly found herself as Smackdown Women's Champion, and instantly became a fan-favorite superstar. WWE took Alexa's character presentation and direction to the next level when they introduced Mickie James as her right hand. The way Mickie James was brought into Alexa's story was a bit unorthodox. Instead of Mickie James appearing as herself or having Alexa introduce Mickie, WWE instead had this masked women's wrestler that was appearing on SmackDown for a few weeks in a row. You know how things are when it comes to masked mystery characters. Everyone wants to know who's behind that mask and who's the big reveal. Well, the idea and concept actually worked. The masked women wrestler actually had fans talking and wondering who was under the mask. A few weeks went by, and it was revealed to us that the masked wrestler was in fact legendary Mickie James. From there on, Mickie James wasn't really Alexa's manager. It's not like Mickie was speaking on Alexa's behalf. Alexa still held down her work on the mic. So it made Mickie James seem more like a sidekick or a right hand, clearly taking a number 2 spot behind Alexa. Alexa was clearly the focal point of that on-screen relationship. Alexa and Mickie were paired up on screen for a long time, but didn't really have an in-depth breakdown storyline with that title on the line. Didn't really get to see that unfold. Well, Mickie James recently spoke with Inside the Ropes' Gary Cassidy and talked about her regrets with the Alexa Bliss storyline. She had this to say during that interview. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to come in. I don't know how I feel. I always think back to that. I think, I'll be honest, I thought it was cool to come back as La Luchadora, but I think I should have come back as Mickie James. I don't think I should have come back in a mask as La Luchadora. I don't think Mickie James needed to come back as La Luchadora. It's cool to come back underneath a mask, but I've been this La Luchadora character the whole time. But it's going to be obvious that it wasn't me because different body styles and body movements, but it's whatever, so sure, I'll do it. I'm excited. I'm so excited to come back. I'm so excited to get the opportunity. I wish I just had then said, you know what? I don't think this suits Mickie James, the legend Mickie James. I think Mickie James should come in as Mickie James. And I think if I said that, then the rest of my career at that second run would have went way different because immediately I was aligned as a sidekick. And then I stayed in that role for a very long time, for pretty much most of my second run. And it was fun. I love those girls, and I love Alexa. I think she's great. She's brilliant. She's so sweet. And I love all the ladies there. I loved working with them. I wish that I would have been able to work with Sasha, actually, or Bailey, or actually do singles programs. But I think because I came in as somebody's sidekick or whatever, it kind of didn't get the, you know what I mean? I never was able to escape that role. I came in as that role and I didn't escape it, and it was like, dang it. So it wasn't anything personal with Alexa or anything else in the story. Mickie just regrets it because she returned as a sidekick and never got out of that role. Over the last few years in WWE before her release, the Alexa storyline was pretty much the only thing she did. She never held the title again or even had a featured storyline. So you can understand her frustration there. A new cryptic teaser has been posted by a recently released WWE superstar, and this individual in question is CJ Perry, formerly known as Lana. Lana was obviously part of the unexpected releases from several months ago. Lana had dedicated all of her free time to training and getting better in the ring. Natalya has stated several times that Lana would drive for hours to train and then spend more hours practicing in the ring. So her release was very crushing to her and her fans. But it does look like the light at the end of the tunnel has finally arrived for Lana. She took to Instagram to post a new photo shoot picture of herself in the ring with boxing gloves on and the caption, 90 days is over. You know what that means. Lana, of course, is referencing her 90-day non-compete clause from her WWE release. She is now officially free to sign with whoever she pleases and start making appearances whenever she wants. Of course, to no surprise at all, AEW is one of the most talked about landing spots for Lana. Obviously, her husband Miro has seen a lot of success in AEW himself, and he most definitely would love to have his wife with him on the same roster. Maybe they even reunite on screen together. It's been several years since the both of them have been paired up in the ring, so that's definitely a possibility. Although it appears that Lana just doesn't want to stand on the sidelines anymore, she's eager to step foot back in the ring and actually wrestle. So maybe she does her own thing away from Miro in AEW. This also means that everyone else from that batch of releases Lana was a part of are also official free agents now. So it'll be interesting to see where all these big names end up at. Michael Cole spent the first few years of the 2010s as WWE's biggest heel commentator. If you were watching back in 2010, you know that Cole was nothing like the babyface commentator you hear from in current day. He was a pretty ruthless heel commentator that went after NXT Season 3 in a heartless way. He was the full-time commentator for this season of NXT, but the character absolutely despised NXT and his job to commentate the program. He would pretend to be asleep on commentary. He would hold signs that mentioned how much he hated NXT. This is also where the popular image of Michael Cole holding up the sign that says, "Stop the Pain," comes from. That Stop the Pain picture is still used by fans till this day, mostly under WWE's Twitter posts whenever they see something that they don't like. And even though it was just a character and performance he was doing, some of the women who were competing on NXT would watch the show back and have to hear all that negative commentary. The winner of that NXT season, Caitlyn, recently spoke with Total Smart Wrestling Podcast and had this to say about Michael Cole's apology. "When I went back to the Mae Young Classic in 2018, I had the opportunity to sit down with Michael Cole. I think he might have felt a little bad because he was the main commentator on NXT and he was so mean to us. As a commentator, you have so much ability to shift people's perspectives and mindset. And it was funny, but it also made us feel like trash, and other people trashed us because of it. And it just added more to the concept of, like, people used to refer to the Divas matches as bathroom breaks. And so it didn't help our cause. I know he was just doing his job and making his name, so I had the opportunity to sit down with him, Beth and Renee, because they did the commentary for the Mae Young Classic in 2018. It was cool to sit down with the three of them, and Michael Cole apologized about that time, and I was like, I totally get it. It wasn't personal, obviously. It was cool to have that moment that we all kind of came back after however many years. So it's great to see that they all patched everything up there for sure, but what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.